there has to be some healing and forgiveness.
Right. I totally agree.
When I wrote the book,
mm-hmm.
I wanted to demonstrate to people, women in general, that no matter how bad it is, there's got to be forgiveness, and that is a process. You'll hear most people say, well, you got to forgive and you got to forget. Well, you can forgive, but unless you have some type of memory loss, you never forget. But you have to learn how to live with the hurt and move past it, so that forgiveness is a process.
Yes, it is. So that
you can ultimately be able to look at a person and know, I've forgiven you, no matter how the relationship turns out.
But you know what? Sometimes, Nicole, that's easier said than done, because it's like forgiving, my God, and you have to in order to move on. But it's like when that hurt lingers on, and then when you still see the person that hurt you, it's like it's hard to let that go. It's just hard to let that go. And I don't know, but I did see this with these characters. Because Glimmer in the Darkness, I promise you, the first couple chapters, I felt like I was at a marriage seminar. I felt like I was getting some marriage counseling in this book. Because I'm telling you, if you having problems with anything going on in your marriage, trust me, this is the book for you. And then if you're thinking about getting married, you need to read this book, because she deals with some issues, honey. So tell us about this Glimmer in the Darkness, because I don't want to give it away. I'm gonna let you talk about your book. Tell me about this book, and why should the readers even want to go find this book?
Glimmer in the Darkness is about Shannon Johnson. She's a full-time mom and a part-time freelance writer. She's married and she has 2 sons, and she recognizes that there are some problems in her marriage, and she wants to fix them, and has started taking steps with talking to people at church, in particular minister, on how to fix her marriage. And then she gets this surprise. Venitra James comes and rings her doorbell one afternoon, introduces herself as the lady who's been sleeping with Shannon's husband, and not only has she been sleeping with the husband, Daniel, but she was also pregnant.
And you know what? That messed me up right there, because I was like, close the door, slam the door, close the book, because it's time. I thought it was getting ready to be a fight. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm about to give it away. Come on, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, honey, come to my door with some drama. It's gonna be on and popping.
And so it rocks her world. It rocks Shannon's world. And the book picks up where the child, her name is Madison, is born, and she's 3 months old. And Shannon is trying to figure out what she's going to do. So during the course of this pregnancy, she did not leave her husband, but she's still so very hurt. And the reason why I made it so much further out is because you have people that get up and leave,
mm-hmm.
and then you have people who don't. And in Shannon's particular situation, probably had she been better off financially, she probably would have left, but as luck or blessing would have it, she wasn't able.
But you know what? I think
so. She had to make a plan.
Right. And I think the beauty of what you just said is that you showed the dynamic and you showed the thought process of a woman that stays during infidelity and a child has been produced. And it's so many times we always say, what she stay for? Why she just didn't leave? And I thought that was the beauty of you showing Shannon's, the depthness of Shannon, because so many women, regardless of the finances, it's just that whole thought process of, do I stay? Do I leave? Because I really do love this man. Or even from a male perspective, I really do love this woman, because you got some women that do the same thing. So, and they decide to stay. But I thought that was the real beauty of, you got to see her battling, for lack of a better statement, battling in her mind backwards and forth. And I could really appreciate that.
Because it's not easy. She has 2 kids, and not just any 2 kids. She got 2 sons.
Yeah. Major.
And in this day and age, a young man or young men without their fathers, it can have an impact. And she had to think about that. So she had to think about, does she, prepare her boys into the typical, stereotypical black home where people think that there's not a father around, or does she try and work it out? So, that was a huge battle for her. And then there are other dynamics in the book, such as Madison has to come and live with them because Venitra takes ill. She finds out she has breast cancer, and due to unforeseen circumstances, Madison had to come and live with Shannon and Daniel, and that really took the issues to an entirely new place, because you have women that say, yeah, as long as you don't bring that to me, I don't want to see it. But she couldn't help but see it.
Right.
It was right there in her
It was
home.
like in her face. That's scary. That's really scary, because but I think one thing is that also when Shannon, do you feel like she made some of the decisions because what was, for lack of a better statement, in her face, because the baby was there and she felt like she didn't have an escape route?
Yeah, she felt backed into a corner and powerless. You have this baby here, and she felt alone. She felt like, she had a couple of good friends who listened, but on a day-to-day basis, she felt like she was being forced to do something she didn't want to do.
It was almost like she was feeling like she was out of the game. It's like, she was getting forced into a situation.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would say she knew she had issues, and then her husband takes up with someone else. So you can only imagine her, the level of worth that she was feeling.
Right.
Yeah, she's trying to be this dedicated wife and mother, and she finds out that her husband has brought in this replacement, and in Shannon's eyes, not even a suitable replacement.
Right.
She was a particular type of nasty.
Yeah, so, we ain't gonna go there because that's a whole nother show on a particular type of nasty. Because people don't realize there's multiple stages to nasty. And not just Janet Jackson, because when she say I'm Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, yes, Lord, you need to call Shannon. Yes, she was a piece of work. So it's like, and I think she represented so many women that are going through having to deal with infidelity, having to deal with making those decisions that were no fault of your own. It's like, I didn't make this decision, and now I got to deal with it. That has to feel, that has to make you feel some kind of way. So go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, so it's like you feel in some kind of way, and it's almost to the point that it's like even your prayer life is challenged through this, because why do I need to pray? Why do I need to do anything? And it's like we don't even recognize the situation that we're going in. And I think that falls right back into line with what we were talking about, feeling like you're out of the game, because it's like when your world is torn upside down and ripped apart, you feel like you've just been kicked, for lack of a better saying, kicked out of the ballpark.
Yeah. She felt like she had been replaced, and she was. And it's good that you brought up faith, because where we are in our faith oftentimes determine how we deal with things.
Mm-hmm.
And she was new in her faith.
Wow, that's major.
The book talks about how they had been going to church, they had found somewhere to go, but she wasn't so deep and elevated in her relationship with God that she believed that it would be all right no matter what. So it took her a long time,
right,
doing it on her own, trying to figure it out on her own as to what she should do next.
Right. And it's like you don't even know, you really don't even know where you're going with that, because it's like You don't even know God is great during that situation, especially if you're new to the faith. You know that you want to be saved. You know that you want to be set free. But it's like, how do you even... I know my mindset. It's like, why am I even trying to be saved and now my life is upside down? What's the purpose? Before I even acknowledged having God in my life seemed like it was going just hunky dory. That had to be going through her mind.
Mhm. It did, and it's touched upon in the book. There, she has people giving her all of their unsolicited advice, but one of the two people she actually goes to for advice continues to press her and encourage her to pray about it. And she's like a lot of other people don't understand that, because the question is, why would God allow this to happen?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a complicated question to answer. So it wasn't one that was simply answered, but she was encouraged to continue to be faithful and to God, and to continue. The undertone was that she needed to continue to be a good wife.
Most definitely, and I think that's the key right there. That you have to continue, regardless of what's going on with you, regardless about what's happening. You got to continue your walk, because a lot of times those situations come just to make you strong. And I always tell everybody, you got to go through the test before you can have the testimony. Because you are doing this so you can help somebody else through and be strong for them when they feel like they've hit rock bottom, or that they have been put out the game. And so that's why we have to just stay positive and stay in the game. Well, we're getting ready to take a break. We're going to come back and talk some more with Miss Nicole Hampton about this awesome book and some other things that she's doing. But before we go to break, I just want to share an invite to you from Reverend Mother Cecilia Williams Bryant, Mother Reverend C, as we like to call us. They want you to join them at the altar after the election, because they know that after the election we're going to need to go into a lot of prayer, and that's going to be at none other than Empowerment Temple Church at 4217 Primrose on November the 9th at 6 a.m. You want to join them there for prayer, because just like we're talking about Shannon in this particular book, she was going through, but the main thing that she had was prayer. And you have to have prayer when you feel like you're out of the game, when you feel like things are just not working out for you. You need to go to the altar and repent to God and share, and let God help you work through those situations. Again, they are calling everybody. Reverend C is calling everybody on Wednesday morning, November the 9th at 6 a.m. to come join her at the altar. It's going to be called the morning after. How many of you know about the morning after? So just get ready and just know that God is great in everything that he does for you, and just meet him at the altar, especially on November the 9th at 6 a.m.